Hey YouTube, what is going on? Lee Sanders here of the RCWR show, coming at you with some exclusive and breaking news for this early Saturday morning of June 4th, 2016. He was known as the greatest that ever lived, a civil rights champion on top of all that. Of course, I'm talking about Muhammad Ali, who had passed away Friday, June 3rd, at the age of 74. Ali had died at a Phoenix hospital where he was spending several days there being treated for respiratory complications. A family spokesperson had confirmed Ali's death to NBC News. He was 74 years of age. After a 32 battle with Parkinson's disease, Muhammad Ali has passed away at the age of 74. The three-time world heavyweight champion boxer died this evening, said Bob Gunno, a family spokesperson. Ali was battling Parkinson's disease for a little bit over 3 decades, and Parkinson's disease, just to recap for some of you all that may not be aware of this condition, it is a neurological progressive condition that slowly robs people of their verbal and physical capabilities, and that's exactly what it had did to Muhammad Ali. As far as funeral services goes, there is one being planned in his hometown in Louisville, Kentucky. Now, despite the fact that Ali's health had continued to be on such a great decline over the years, it didn't keep him away from politics or controversy, as early as December, Ali had released a statement criticizing the Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump's proposal to ban Muslims from entering the United States, saying, and I quote, "We as Muslims have to stand up to those who use Islam to advance their own personal agenda." And with that, really capitalizes and capsules the type of man that Muhammad Ali was, because remember, you have to go back to the early 60s when he was a world heavyweight champion and he had converted to Islam, and on top of that had refused to serve in the Vietnam War. Born Cassius Clay on June 17th, 1942 in Louisville, Kentucky, to middle-class parents, Ali had began his boxing career at the age of 12, winning Golden Gloves titles before heading to the 1960 Olympics in Rome, where he won a gold medal as a light heavyweight. He soon went professionally after that, first being supported by Louisville business owners who granted him an unprecedented 50-50 split in earnings at the time. Known for his knack of talking up his opponents, it earned him the nickname the Louisville Lip, as he always backed up his talk whenever he got into that ring. Eventually, he would relocate to Miami and began training with legendary trainer Angelo Dundee and built a case for getting a shot at the world heavyweight title. Despite the fact that within years and years of continued success as a great boxer, it did not stop Ali from crying out against American racism. One instance in particular, he was refused service at a soda fountain counter. He said he threw his Olympic gold medal into a river as a result of that. Let's not also forget about the friendship that came about between Muhammad Ali and Malcolm X. For those of you that really just are not familiar with Muhammad Ali, his life, and in particular his friendship with Malcolm X, I would highly recommend you go out of your way to check out the Will Smith movie Ali. Mario Van Peebles does a really good interpretation of portraying Malcolm X in that movie, and it just really helps you connect the dots. And to date, that was probably one of the best live adaptations of Mr. Ali's biography But you talk about the original freedom fighter. You talk about one of the original heavyweights as far as using their celebrity status to stand up against discrimination of any kind that was in particular happening in North America, especially way back then. You go as far back as to when he had renounced his born given name of Cassius Clay, saying that that was his slave name, and that from then on he would be known as the one and only Muhammad Ali, that was bestowed upon him by the Nation of Islam's founder Elijah Muhammad, just at the age of 22. And then shortly after that, you fast forward to the late 1960s, right at the height of the Vietnam War, when Ali was drafted to serve in the army, and he was just very disgusted. He did not want to have any part to do with this war, refusing to serve, saying, and I quote, "My conscience won't let me go shoot my brother or some darker people, some poor, hungry people in the mud for big, powerful America, and shoot them for what?" That's what Ali has said in an interview. "They never called me nigger. They never lynched me. They didn't put no dogs on me." This would ultimately culminate in Ali refusing to step forward when his name was called at a army recruiting station. And the reaction to that was very swift, and it was very harsh, as he was stripped of his boxing title and he was convicted of draft evasion and sentenced to 5 years in prison. Now, eventually he would be released on appeal, but he was unable to fight or leave the country. Ali had to turn to the lecture circuit, speaking at college campuses, where he engaged in heated debates, the hypocrisy of denying rights to blacks, even as they were ordered to fight the country's battles that were happening beforehand. He had a lot of support from anti-war activists and black nationalists, as he fought the Supreme Court with regards to trying to get a appeal on the conviction that had came about. And eventually he was able to return to the ring. And of course, we all remember the trilogy of great fights that Ali had with Joe Frazier. This definitely stings. It definitely hurts, I have to tell you, because we have just lost a good amount of significant people really since late last year in 2015, right around late November, early December. And honestly, just going into this calendar year of 2016, here we are just barely with 6 months of this calendar year already in the books. And to just think about the significant number of people that we have lost so far. Of course, with one of the biggest names being Prince, and you're kind of saying to yourself, if you're following all forms of the entertainment aspects of the world, going, who could possibly be next? Like, because usually these deaths, they come like as a shock from left field, and it usually comes in like big threes, like big 3 heavy names. But there's just been a lot of heavy names that's just been going out this year. As long as I have been on God's green earth, I have never in all my years of living recalled a time like right now where we are just losing so many people. And it's a very eerie, it's a very sad, very depressing feeling, I must tell you. But Muhammad Ali, hands down, I don't think anybody is going to make any arguments. There's not going to be any disagreement. Definitely one of the greatest boxing champions, one of the greatest boxers, one of the best human beings that had graced this earth, no doubt about it. The work that he did in the ring, what he did outside of the ring, just as a man, as a individual, trying to lead that flag for equal rights, fighting and defying bigotry, discrimination, and all. Definitely he's going to be missed, and I definitely want to just open up this forum now to get you all's input, get you all's reactions. So feel free to leave a comment below. You can also interact with me on Twitter. Give me a follow as well at the RCWR Show. Facebook, Infinity One Productions. That's with an E, spell out one, Infinity One Productions. And we'll definitely follow up on what you all have to say, depending the volume of reactions that we get to the news on our next Tuesday night edition of the RCWR Show, which you can catch live Tuesday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern on Spreaker.com, where we'll go a little bit more in depth on the passing of Muhammad Ali. If it's your first time checking us out here on YouTube, would love to have you subscribe so you never miss out on all the great content that we do for you here on a weekly basis. We got a little bit of something for everybody, so feel free to poke your head around, check out some of the other content that we have uploaded. And until next go round, I'm definitely wishing all of y'all to be safe and most importantly be kind to one another. But deepest thoughts, my prayers to Mr. Ali's family, in particular his daughter. Definitely thoughts and prayers to his close friends, his colleagues, the generations of boxers that decided they wanted to put on a pair of gloves because they grew up in some shape or form on Muhammad Ali, even if it was a case where they were checking out old boxing matches of his years, decades after he had already retired from the sport. And it was just that moment right there that they decided they wanted to be a boxer, that they wanted to follow in this great man's footsteps. Definitely a lot of lives this man has touched greatly, not to mention the hours, the time, the resources, the money that he had put into many charitable events. Nothing but deep thoughts, prayers, condolences to you all, fans as well. Take care, everybody.